It's finally happening. The moment you've been waiting for, without even knowing you were waiting for it. The cosmic alignment you've been unconsciously preparing for. The spiritual convergence that's been building in the heavens while you've been walking through your daily life, unaware that everything has been leading to this exact moment. Tomorrow, the supermoon rises. And today, this final day before that celestial event, is not just another day on your calendar. It's a threshold, a portal, a divine checkpoint. And what you do with the next 24 hours is going to determine whether you walk into the blessing that's been prepared for you, or whether you block it through ignorance, distraction, or disobedience. You weren't supposed to find this message by accident. The fact that these words are in front of your eyes right now, in this specific moment, is proof that heaven has been trying to get your attention. You've been receiving signs all week, maybe all month. Small things that seemed insignificant at the time. Repeated numbers. Unexpected messages from people you haven't heard from in years. Dreams that felt more real than your waking life. Sudden urges to pray at random times. Unexplained emotions that washed over you without warning. Songs that seemed to play at exactly the moment you needed to hear their lyrics. Conversations that addressed questions you'd only asked in the privacy of your own mind. These weren't coincidences. These were breadcrumbs, spiritual markers guiding you toward this moment, leading you to this information, preparing you for what's about to unfold. And now, on this last day before the supermoon, you're being given clear instruction. You're being given specific warning. You're being given divine insight into what you must do and what you must absolutely avoid in the next 24 hours. Because tomorrow, when that moon reaches its fullest, brightest, most powerful state, something is going to shift in the spiritual realm that will affect your physical reality. Doors that have been sealed are going to crack open. Blessings that have been held back are going to be released. Promises that have been delayed are going to manifest. But only for those who are properly positioned, only for those who are spiritually aligned, only for those who have heeded the signs. The supermoon is not just an astronomical phenomenon, it's a spiritual event. Throughout history, throughout cultures, throughout spiritual traditions, the full moon has been recognized as a time of heightened power, increased energy, amplified manifestation, and a supermoon, when the moon is at its closest point to Earth, magnifies all of that exponentially. The veil between the spiritual and physical realms becomes thinner. The connection between intention and reality becomes stronger. The speed at which things manifest accelerates dramatically. This is why witches do their most powerful spells during full moons. This is why ancient peoples perform their most important rituals during these times. This is why even modern science acknowledges that human behavior changes during full moons, that births increase, that emergency rooms get busier, that people act differently. But for the chosen ones, for those who are called according to divine purpose, the supermoon represents something even more significant. It represents a completion, a culmination, an arrival. Everything you've been praying for, believing for, working toward, has been building toward this moment. The spiritual momentum that's been gathering is about to reach critical mass. The seeds you've been sowing are about to break through the soil. The promises that have been gestating are about to be born. But there's a catch. There's always a catch. And this is it. You have to be ready. You have to be clean. You have to be aligned. You have to be obedient. And you have one day, this day, the last day before the supermoon, to make sure you are. So let me tell you what the signs are that you cannot afford to ignore today. Let me tell you what heaven has been trying to show you. Let me tell you what the universe has been attempting to communicate. Because if you miss these signs, if you dismiss these warnings, if you ignore these instructions, you will block the very blessing that's been prepared for you. You will stand at the door of breakthrough and watch it close in your face. You will reach for the promise and watch it slip through your fingers. Not because God changed his mind, not because you weren't worthy, but because you weren't paying attention, because you weren't obedient, because you prioritized comfort over calling, because you chose convenience over consecration. The first sign you cannot ignore today is the person who's been on your mind repeatedly. There's someone you keep thinking about. Their face keeps appearing in your thoughts. Their name keeps coming up in conversations. You keep almost running into them, or you keep seeing things that remind you of them. This is not random. This is strategic. Heaven is trying to tell you something about this person. Either they're about to play a significant role in your breakthrough, or they're a trap that's been set to derail you, and you need to discern which one it is before tomorrow's supermoon locks in the energy. If this person brings peace when you think about them, if their memory makes you feel lighter, if the thought of reconnecting with them fills you with hope, then they're likely a divine connection that you need to pursue. Reach out today before the supermoon. Make the call. Send the message. Take the step, because tomorrow the window might close. Tomorrow they might not be as receptive. Tomorrow the divine timing might have passed. But if this person brings anxiety when you think about them, if their memory makes you feel heavy, if the thought of reconnecting fills you with dread, disguised as obligation, then they're a distraction. They're a detour. They're a delay tactic from the enemy. And you need to actively resist the urge to reach out. You need to block their number if necessary. You need to delete their contact if that's what it takes. Because engaging with the wrong person on the day before a supermoon can bind you to wrong energy for an entire lunar cycle. The second sign you cannot ignore today is the recurring dream or vision. You've been seeing something in your sleep or in moments of meditation, the same image, the same scenario, the same symbol, and you keep dismissing it as your imagination or stress or something you ate. But it's not. It's a message. It's instruction. It's revelation. And today, the day before the supermoon, you need to sit down and actually decode what you've been shown. Write it down. Pray over it. Ask for interpretation, because that dream or vision contains specific guidance about what you're supposed to do next. It contains warning about what you're supposed to avoid. It contains confirmation about decisions you've been hesitating to make. I'm speaking to someone right now who has been dreaming about water. Maybe you're drowning in the dream. Maybe you're swimming. Maybe you're standing at the edge of an ocean. That water represents emotion. It represents the subconscious. It represents cleansing or overwhelming, depending on the context. And heaven is trying to show you that you need to address your emotional state before tomorrow. You need to process what you've been suppressing. You need to release what you've been holding. You need to cry if you need to cry. You need to rage if you need to rage. You need to grieve if you need to grieve. Because walking into a supermoon with unprocessed emotions is like trying to tune a radio while someone's screaming in your ear. The signal can't come through clearly. The blessing can't manifest purely. The breakthrough will be contaminated by the unresolved trauma. I'm speaking to someone else who has been dreaming about houses. Maybe you're in a house you've never been in before. Maybe you're in a childhood home. Maybe you're in a house that's under construction or falling apart. Houses in dreams represent the self. They represent your mental and spiritual state. And heaven is showing you that there's inner work that needs to be done before tomorrow. There are rooms in your consciousness that need to be cleaned. There are foundations in your belief system that need to be repaired. There are structures in your thinking that need to be rebuilt. And today is your day to do that work. Today is your day to pray the prayers, read the scriptures, do the meditation, have the therapy session, whatever it takes to get your inner house in order before the supermoon energy floods in. The third sign you cannot ignore today is the sudden urge to let something go. You've been holding on to something, a relationship that ended years ago, but you're still emotionally attached to. A grudge against someone who wronged you. A belief about yourself that's no longer true. but you keep repeating it. A habit that served you once, but is now holding you back. A possession that carries memories you can't seem to move past. And today you're feeling this strange urge to release it, to forgive, to throw it away, to move on. Don't ignore that urge. That's not weakness. That's not you being flaky or inconsistent. That's the Holy Spirit preparing you for what's coming. That's the universe creating space for the new by helping you release the old. You cannot carry old baggage into new blessings. You cannot hold on to past pain and receive present promises. You cannot clutch yesterday's disappointments and catch tomorrow's opportunities. Your hands are full, and what's coming requires empty hands, open hands, surrendered hands. So whatever you're feeling prompted to release today, release it. Write the forgiveness letter, even if you never send it. Donate the clothes that remind you of who you used to be. Delete the photos that keep you tied to a season that's over. Block the person who keeps pulling you back. Quit the job that's draining your soul. Cancel the commitment that you only said yes to out of guilt. Whatever it is, let it go today before the supermoon. Because tomorrow, when that cosmic energy intensifies, whatever you're still holding on to is going to feel 10 times heavier. And it might become too difficult to release. The fourth sign you cannot ignore today is the closed door that you keep trying to open. There's something you've been pushing for, a relationship you keep trying to force, an opportunity you keep chasing even though every attempt fails, a plan you keep trying to execute even though every step forward gets blocked. And you've been interpreting this resistance as a test of your faith. You've been telling yourself that you just need to push harder, believe stronger, try one more time. But what if the closed door isn't a test? What if it's protection? What if it's redirection? What if God is trying to save you from something that looks good but would actually harm you? Today, the day before the supermoon, you need to stop pushing on doors that aren't opening. You need to step back and acknowledge that maybe, just maybe, the answer is no. Not because you're not worthy, not because you don't deserve it, but because there's something better, something more aligned, something that's actually part of your divine plan. And your insistence on this particular door is causing you to miss the door that's actually opening for you on the other side of the room. I know this is hard to hear. I know you've invested time, energy, emotion, maybe even money into this thing you've been pursuing. I know you've told people about it. I know you've built expectations around it. I know walking away feels like failure, but it's not failure. It's wisdom. It's maturity. It's you finally trusting that God's no is just as loving as his yes. So today, practice surrender. Practice releasing control. Practice saying out loud, if this isn't for me, I don't want it. If this isn't your will, redirect me. If this isn't my path, show me the one that is. Because tomorrow, when the supermoon locks in energy, you want to be locked into the right energy, not the energy of stubborn resistance against divine redirection. The fifth sign you cannot ignore today is the physical symptom that keeps showing up. Maybe it's a headache that won't go away. Maybe it's tension in your shoulders that feels like you're carrying the weight of the world. Maybe it's exhaustion that sleep doesn't fix. Maybe it's stomach issues that have no medical explanation. Your body is trying to tell you something. Your body is always speaking, and when you ignore it long enough, it starts shouting. These physical symptoms aren't random. They're manifestations of spiritual and emotional blockages. That headache might be all the overthinking you've been doing, all the worry you've been carrying. Those shoulder knots might be the burdens you've been shouldering that aren't yours to carry. That exhaustion might be your soul's way of saying you're out of alignment with your purpose, and it's draining your life force. Those stomach issues might be the gut feelings you've been ignoring, the intuition you've been dismissing, the truth you've been refusing to digest. Today, before the supermoon, you need to listen to your body. You need to rest if your body is asking for rest. You need to move if your body is asking for movement. You need to drink water, stretch, breathe deeply, get outside, whatever your physical form is requesting. Because tomorrow, when that supermoon energy amplifies everything, if your body is already compromised, if your vessel is already weak, you won't be able to hold the blessing that's coming. You won't be able to carry the anointing that's being released. You won't be able to sustain the elevation that's being offered. So today is about physical preparation. Today is about honoring the temple. Today is about making sure your body is ready to receive what your spirit is about to attract. The sixth sign you cannot ignore today is the gut feeling about your current environment. There's a space you occupy. Maybe it's your home. Maybe it's your workplace. Maybe it's a social circle. And lately, you've been feeling uncomfortable in it. Something feels off. The energy feels wrong. You can't quite put your finger on it, but you know something isn't right. You keep trying to rationalize it away. You keep telling yourself you're being paranoid or overly sensitive, but you're not. Your spirit is discerning something your mind hasn't caught up to yet. That environment is toxic. That space is not aligned with where you're going. That atmosphere is contaminated with energy that's going to block your blessing if you stay in it through tomorrow's supermoon. This might be the job where you feel undervalued, unappreciated, unseen. This might be the friendship group where you always leave feeling drained rather than energized. This might be the living situation where there's constant tension, drama, or negativity. This might even be the church or spiritual community where something feels performative rather than authentic. And today you're being called to make a decision. You're being asked to choose yourself over comfort. You're being asked to prioritize your spiritual health over social convenience. This doesn't mean you have to burn bridges or make dramatic exits. But it does mean you need to create distance. You need to set boundaries. You need to limit your exposure. And you need to start planning your exit strategy if this is a situation you can't immediately leave. Because here's the truth. You cannot bloom in toxic soil. You cannot thrive in poisonous atmospheres. You cannot rise in environments designed to keep you small. And tomorrow's supermoon is going to amplify whatever energy you're surrounded by. If you're in the wrong environment, that wrongness is going to intensify. If you're in aligned spaces, that alignment is going to multiply. So today, assess where you are. Look around at the physical spaces you occupy and the energetic atmospheres you're immersed in. And if they don't feel right, start extracting yourself. Even small steps count. Even subtle shifts matter. The point is to be moving in the right direction before tomorrow locks in the energy. The seventh sign you cannot ignore today is the project or idea that keeps coming back to you. You've had this creative impulse, this business concept, this ministry vision, this artistic expression, this problem you see that you know you could solve, and you keep pushing it to the back of your mind because the timing doesn't seem right, or you don't feel qualified, or you're afraid of what people will think, or you don't know where to start. But it keeps resurfacing. It keeps tapping on your consciousness. It keeps presenting itself in different forms through different channels. You see other people doing similar things, and you feel this pang of recognition, not jealousy, but a knowing that this is your lane too. That persistent idea is not random. That recurring vision is not your ego. That consistent pull is not distraction. It's your calling trying to get your attention. It's your purpose knocking on the door of your awareness. It's the assignment that's being placed on your life, making itself known. And today, the day before the supermoon, you need to take action on it. Not massive action. Not quitting your job and diving in head first, but some action. Write down the idea in detail. Research the first step. Tell someone you trust about it. Create a rough plan. Take one small move toward bringing it into reality, because tomorrow's supermoon energy is creation energy. It's manifestation energy. It's the perfect cosmic climate for birthing new things. But you have to plant the seed today. You have to initiate the process. You have to show heaven that you're ready to move on what's been placed in your heart. The eighth sign you cannot ignore today is the apology you need to make, or the forgiveness you need to extend. There's unfinished business between you and another person. Maybe you wronged them and you've been too proud to admit it. Maybe they wronged you, and you've been holding on to the hurt, rehearsing it, keeping it alive. Either way, there's a blockage. There's unforgiveness. There's unresolved conflict, and it's creating static in your spiritual frequency. It's disrupting your alignment. It's blocking the flow of blessings trying to reach you. Today, you need to address this. If you need to apologize, swallow your pride and do it. Send the message. Make the call. Write the letter. It doesn't matter if they accept it. It doesn't matter if they forgive you. What matters is that you humble yourself and take responsibility for your part. That act of humility creates an opening for grace. That admission of wrongdoing clears a pathway for blessing. And even if the relationship doesn't get restored, your integrity does. Your character strengthens. Your spirit lightens. If you need to extend forgiveness, you need to do that too. And no, this doesn't mean what they did was okay. This doesn't mean you have to trust them again or let them back into your life. Forgiveness is not reconciliation. Forgiveness is not about them at all. It's about you. It's about releasing the poison you've been drinking, hoping they would die. It's about cutting the cord that keeps you energetically tied to a person who hurt you. It's about reclaiming your peace and your power. So today, speak it out loud. Write their name down and say, I forgive you. I release you. I'm done carrying this, and feel the weight lift. Feel the chains break. Feel the space open up inside you where blessing can now enter. The ninth sign you cannot ignore today is the financial decision you've been avoiding. There's money you need to give or money you need to stop giving. There's a purchase you need to make that feels scary but necessary, or a purchase you need to cancel because it's driven by ego, not need. There's a budget you need to create, a debt you need to face, an investment you need to make, a stream of income you need to pursue. Whatever it is, you've been procrastinating. You've been hoping it would resolve itself, or that you'd feel more ready later. But today is the day to handle it. The supermoon brings abundance energy, but abundance can't flow into clenched fists. Abundance can't enter a space that's cluttered with financial chaos. If you're hoarding money out of fear, you're blocking flow. If you're spending recklessly out of anxiety, you're wasting resources that were meant to be multiplied. If you're refusing to tithe or give because you don't think you have enough, you're operating from scarcity consciousness. If you're letting people take advantage of you financially because you don't want to seem unkind, you're dishonoring the provision God has given you. Today, make the hard financial decision. Pay the bill you've been avoiding. Cancel the subscription you don't use. Give the offering you know you're supposed to give. Stop lending money to the person who never pays you back. Make the investment in yourself that feels scary but right. Whatever financial move you know you need to make it today, before the supermoon. Because tomorrow the abundance gates open, but they only open for those who have demonstrated good stewardship, generosity, and faith in their financial lives today. The 10th sign you cannot ignore today is the spiritual practice you've been neglecting. You know what it is. It's the prayer time you used to keep, but have let slip. It's the meditation practice you started but abandoned. It's the scripture reading you've replaced with scrolling. It's the fasting you've been meaning to do. It's the worship you've let become routine rather than authentic. It's the gratitude journal you stopped writing in. Whatever spiritual discipline has fallen away from your life, today is the day to pick it back up. You cannot receive spiritual blessings while neglecting spiritual practices. You cannot expect divine intervention while giving God your leftovers. You cannot demand breakthrough while refusing to do the inner work. The supermoon amplifies whatever you're already doing. If you're spiritually disciplined, that discipline will be rewarded and multiplied. If you're spiritually lazy, that laziness will manifest as missed opportunities and blocked blessings. So today, reconnect. Get alone with God. Turn off your phone. Sit in silence. Pray with intention. Read with attention. Worship with abandon. Fast if you're able. Do whatever it takes to realign your spirit with the Spirit. And here's the final sign. The 11th sign you absolutely cannot ignore today. The voice inside you that's been whispering, "It's time." You know exactly what I'm talking about. There's something you've been putting off. Something you've been saying you'll do when the timing is right, when you feel ready, when circumstances align. But deep down you know the timing is now. You know you're as ready as you're going to be. You know circumstances will never be perfect. And that small voice, not the loud voice of fear or the nagging voice of obligation, but the quiet, steady voice of knowing, has been saying, "It's time. Move, act, do the thing." That voice is God. That voice is your higher self. That voice is divine wisdom speaking through your intuition. And today, the last day before the supermoon, is the day to obey it. Whatever that thing is, starting the business, ending the relationship, moving to the new city, having the difficult conversation, making the career change, pursuing the dream, do it today. Or at the very least, take the first irreversible step toward it today. Because tomorrow, when the supermoon locks in energy, you want to be locked into the energy of obedience, courage, and forward momentum, not the energy of hesitation, fear, and stagnation. I'm going to tell you something that might make you uncomfortable. Your blessing is on the other side of your obedience. It's that simple and that difficult. God has prepared something magnificent for you. Angels have been working overtime to arrange circumstances in your favor. Heaven has been orchestrating divine appointments, miraculous provisions, and supernatural open doors. But all of that remains inaccessible until you do what you've been called to do, until you move when you're told to move, until you speak when you're told to speak, until you act when you're told to act. And here's what makes today so critical. Tomorrow's supermoon is a cosmic accelerator. Whatever energy you're operating in today will be magnified tomorrow. If you're operating in obedience today, that obedience will unlock multiplied blessings tomorrow. If you're operating in disobedience today, that disobedience will create multiplied blockages tomorrow. If you're aligned today, you'll experience exponential alignment tomorrow. If you're out of alignment today, you'll experience exponential disconnection tomorrow. The supermoon doesn't create new energy. It amplifies existing energy. So the question is, what energy are you bringing into it? This is meant to create awareness and urgency. You have a window of opportunity that's closing, not forever. Grace is always available, but this particular moment of cosmic alignment is a now thing. The next 24 hours matter more than you realize. As you move through the rest of today, be intentional, be present, be obedient. Pay attention to what you're feeling, what you're being prompted to do. Don't dismiss the quiet nudges. Don't ignore the uncomfortable convictions. Don't postpone the difficult actions. Do the thing. Make the call. Have the conversation. Release the person. Forgive the offense. Make the decision. Take the step. Whatever it is, do it today. Tonight before you sleep, take time to pray. Thank God for bringing you to this threshold. Ask Him to complete whatever He's begun in you. Surrender whatever you're still holding on to. Receive whatever He's trying to give you. Declare your readiness for what's coming. Position your heart, mind, and spirit to receive. Tomorrow the supermoon rises. Tomorrow the blessings unlock. Tomorrow the promises manifest. But today, right now, in these final hours, is when you determine whether you'll be ready to receive them. Don't block your blessing by ignoring the signs. Don't forfeit your promise by refusing to obey. Don't miss your moment by choosing comfort over calling. The choice is yours. The time is now. Heaven is watching, and your future is waiting on your obedience today. This isn't about superstition or cosmic luck. This is about alignment. This is about positioning. This is about making sure that when heaven opens the floodgates tomorrow, you're standing in the right place with open hands and a surrendered heart. You've been preparing for this moment longer than you realize. Every trial you've survived, every test you've passed, all of it has been preparing you for what's about to be released. But preparation without positioning is pointless. You can be qualified and still miss your opportunity if you're not where you're supposed to be. You can be ready and still forfeit your blessing if you're too distracted to recognize it. So today matters. These hours matter. What you do with the rest of this day will echo into your tomorrow and beyond. The enemy knows what's coming for you tomorrow. He's seen the blessing assigned to your name. He's aware of the breakthrough decreed over your life, and he's terrified. So he uses subtle distraction, strategic delay, reasonable excuses for why you should wait just a little longer. He keeps you analyzing when you should be acting, comfortable when you should be stretching, silent when you should be speaking. Don't let him steal these final hours before the supermoon. Draw a line in the sand and say, no more delays, no more excuses. I'm moving today. I'm obeying today. I'm stepping out in faith today. Oh, when you make that declaration and back it up with action, something shifts in the heavenlies. Angels are mobilized. Provision is released. Doors begin to unlock. All because you chose obedience over comfort. Here's what to do right now. Put down whatever else you were going to do today. Create space to hear clearly and act decisively. Get alone with God even for just 15 minutes. Ask him directly, what do you need me to do today? What am I supposed to release? What decision am I supposed to make? Then be quiet. Listen. Pay attention to what drops into your spirit. Don't dismiss it. Just receive it as instruction and obey it. Once you have your marching orders, move immediately. Don't give fear time to build arguments. Don't give doubt space to create questions. Just move. And as you move, declare, I am aligned with divine timing. I am positioned for blessing. I'm obedient to heaven's instruction. I'm ready to receive everything that's been prepared for me. Tomorrow's supermoon will unlock what today's obedience has positioned me for. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. Your blessing is more accessible than you realize. Your destiny is waiting on the other side of your decision to act. So act today now. In these final hours before the supermoon, and tomorrow when that celestial event unfolds, you'll be standing exactly where you need to be, ready to receive everything heaven has been holding for you. This is your moment. Don't waste it holding for you. This is your moment. Don't waste it. Tomorrow the supermoon rises, and what you do in the next 24 hours will determine whether you're positioned to receive the blessing that's been prepared for you, or whether you'll block it through distraction and disobedience. This isn't just another day on the calendar. It's a spiritual threshold, a cosmic checkpoint, a divine moment when the veil between the spiritual and physical realms becomes thinner and manifestation accelerates. You've been receiving signs all week, repeated numbers, unexpected messages, vivid dreams, sudden urges to pray. These weren't coincidences. They were breadcrumbs leading you to this message, preparing you for what's about to unfold. In this video, you'll discover the 11 critical signs you absolutely cannot ignore today. The person who keeps coming to mind. The recurring dream or vision. The urge to let something go. The closed door you keep pushing on. The physical symptom that won't go away. The gut feeling about your environment. The project that keeps resurfacing. The apology or forgiveness you need to extend. The financial decision you've been avoiding. The spiritual practice you've neglected. And the inner voice whispering, it's time. Each sign carries specific instruction about what you must do before tomorrow's supermoon locks in the energy. Stay until the very end, because the most powerful truth comes last. Understanding what the enemy is doing to keep you distracted in these final hours, and exactly what you need to do right now to position yourself for breakthrough. If this message resonates, it's confirmation you were meant to hear it. Drop "ready" in the comments to declare your obedience to what heaven is instructing you to do.